You probably heard stories like Justin Rudd's before. A tough neighborhood and a fragile family, a failing school where a vulnerable kid gets caught in a cycle of violence.
I was being bullied, and every day going through it was kind of hard, trying to learn and also fighting back. And I didn't want to deal with it no more, so I dropped out.
And so what did you do when you left that school?
I ended up just staying home, and then when my mom cut me off from everything, I needed money, so I started selling drugs.
How old were you at that point?
14.
What you probably haven't heard as often is what happens to kids like Justin after they've been on the streets for a few years, and they start to wonder whether dropping out was such a good idea.
I didn't want to be like anybody else, being sent in and out of jail over the same stuff over and over again.
Justin Rudd is an example of some stark statistics. Nearly 40% of Philadelphia's ninth graders don't manage to finish school in 4 years. Among the thousands of dropouts under the age of 25, over 60% are out of work. The few who do have jobs earn way less than their peers with high school diplomas. And they aren't the only ones who pay the price. Dropouts are making the U.S. economy less competitive.
What do you say to the person who says, look, these kids made a choice, they dropped out? In a lot of cases, they're adults.
This is a moral imperative. It's also an economic imperative, and for us, this is a workforce issue.
Stacey Holland helps run the city of Philadelphia's response to its dropout problem, Project U-Turn.
This is about creating an educated workforce. This population of young people will be a part of that future workforce, and we can't afford not to. What we need, based on what we know about the global economy, and since we're in a knowledge economy, that any young person that does not have a high school diploma and minimally some type of post-secondary credential, whether it's a 2-year degree or some type of advanced training, is really going to be left out. So as a result, you have to not only prevent, you also have to recapture. You have to get a group of young people that are currently off track, on track.
Since Project U-Turn was launched in 2006, it's become a model for cities nationwide. It's a unique coalition of charitable foundations, social service agencies, universities, and the city, state, and federal governments, all united to help Philly's dropouts drop back in. And it starts with the premise that it's impossible to fix the dropout problem by sending students back to the schools that they left the first time around.
And that's part of what Project U-Turn really was designed to do, was to provide educational opportunities that were different from the ones that they disengaged and dropped out from. I think we need to repaint the picture of the dropout crisis. It's really not about kids. It really is about a system, and whether or not the system is organized in a way to educate all young people.
One of the project's innovations was to open an office at Philadelphia school headquarters known as the Re-Engagement Center. Holland says before it opened, a lot of dropouts wanted to go back to school. They just couldn't figure out how.
We found, on average, the young person was trying to connect 4 times. And after the 5th time, it's like, okay, I can't get through these systems.
So step me through that. They were going back to their local high school and saying, I want to come back?
They were going to the school district. They were going to their school. They were going to community-based agencies. I want to come back. How do I do it? Where do I go? And if you think about a system, you know, there's all these different rules. But if I'm 14 or 15 or 17, I don't know the rules. Right?
So dropouts in Philadelphia no longer have to head to a school to get a transcript, then a social service agency to set up daycare, and then a community college to enroll in a GED program. All they have to do is visit the Re-Engagement Center, where social workers have access to all of the records and services that returning students need. So they can examine dropouts' records to figure out how much work it'll take to get a diploma.
So we're going to input these credits into our network, which will then bring you up to 6 credits towards graduation and make you a 10th grader. Right now
it's one-stop shopping for Philadelphia's returning students. The social workers can connect them to housing or childcare that they might need, as well as the educational options that Project U-Turn offers.
So we have 2 options, which is a good thing.
Project U-Turn's organizers say those options are essential because dropouts leave school for all kinds of reasons and at different ages. GED programs make sense for students like Justin Rudd, who we met earlier, because he left school when he was very young and he works to support himself. Plus, the social service organization that runs the program also keeps track of his progress and gave him tips on how to get a job.
This is my teacher. He previously helped me get a new job.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Good.
He tell you not to use slang, don't sag your pants, wear casual clothes, interview clothes, dress clothes, suit and tie.
Has that helped?
Yes, it helped. I got 2 jobs.
How do you measure success?
But other dropouts want something more like a traditional high school experience.
They want prom, they want student government, but they really can't be with a 14-year-old because they're older developmentally, have different needs. So we needed something different for them.
That something different is another crucial component of Project U-Turn. They're Philadelphia's accelerated high schools. There are 11 of them citywide, and they're designed to help dropouts graduate in less than 3 years. They're full-time programs that offer a condensed curriculum so students can earn credits faster than they would in traditional schools. The accelerated schools are part of Philadelphia's public education system, but they're run by outside contractors. This school, Excel South, doesn't look or feel like other public schools.
Stay quiet, please, stay quiet.
In part because it imposes a strict code of conduct on students.
Everyone in this room is going to graduate from Excel Academy South. There's no doubt in my mind. No one in this room is graduating to the streets.
Administrators admit that they have advantages over the city's traditional public schools. Their students want to be here, and the school has a low student-to-faculty ratio.
The teachers know the students' names, and the students recognize that. And it's not always easy. I have 355 students, and I push myself to know every single student's name. I'm out there every day in the morning greeting the students. We need to have that relationship.
Even with the extra faculty, it doesn't cost any more to send a student to an accelerated school than it does to one of Philadelphia's traditional public schools.
Who's going to pay for this if you want to roll a program like this out, not necessarily in a large city like Philadelphia, but let's say that somebody wants to do this across the river in Camden. How are we going to pay for it?
I don't think it's any one funding source issue. It is about realigning the money, not necessarily looking for new money. So it's a puzzle. And you need community advocates that understand the issue, so that way we're all advocating for the same thing. You also need funders, both on the federal, state, and local level, to realign the existing money they have.
But that hasn't been easy. Lots of school districts have programs that aim to prevent kids who are still part of the education system from leaving. But trying to recover kids who've left that system, as Philadelphia is doing, is much less common.
It seems like you can find all kinds of dropout prevention programs everywhere. They get a lot of attention. They seem to be pretty well funded. Recovery, not so much. Why is that?
One of the challenges is that federally, there's no one agency that actually owns this issue. It's not Department of Labor, it's not Department of Education, it's not Department of Human Services. So one of the things that we would love to see happen is that on a federal level, that there's an ownership of this group of young people.
By some counts, that group of young people totals over 5 million nationwide.
It is a systemic national issue, and Philadelphia, we're fortunate through U-Turn that I can honestly say that we own our dropouts. But it's really challenging if a community doesn't have that ownership yet.
Since it opened in 2008, Project U-Turn's Re-Engagement Center has been helping an average of just over 130 dropouts a month. But every month, more than 500 more kids drop out of Philadelphia's high schools. Even so, other big cities are looking to the program for lessons in how to solve their own dropout problems.
Let us set a goal for ourselves that over the next 5 to 7 years, we will cut the dropout rate in Philadelphia in half. We can do this.
Mayor Michael Nutter has made Philadelphia's dropouts a priority of his administration.
I talk to mayors all across the country on a regular basis. I talk about these programs, and there's no one-size-fits-all. I mean, you have to deal with your own locale. If we are truly going to compete internationally, and I've said before and I'll say again that education should be considered a part of the national defense of the United States of America. That's how we're going to build an economy that is really built to last by investing in people, our most precious asset.
3 times 1 is 3. Right.
Leaders of Project U-Turn say if that's going to happen, it'll be because of the positive example set by the program's graduates. Students like former dropout and drug dealer Justin Rudd. Armed with his GED, he's aiming to start a nursing program at a community college soon.
I want to be a registered nurse. I just want to help people.
Are you excited to be starting college?
Yes, I am. I'm really excited. I can't wait to just be in an environment where I can actually learn something new.